And we are here at our very first scholarship challenge at latinograduate.net, and we thank everybody for tuning in right now. Now, we have a very special show set up for you, and it's all live. None of this is pre-recorded or edited later, so if there are any technical issues, just stay tuned with us right there. I'm Aaron Michael Sanchez, and you can watch us here on livestream.com/LSAC National. What we're going to have is 8 individuals each talking about how they can answer a question. We have with us 3 judges, and we're going to talk to those judges right now. We have Carlos. Now, Carlos here works actually at Pan American Bank. Tell us, Carlos, how did you get to be involved in this project?
In this particular project, Armando came to me and asked me if this is something that I might be interested in, if I had any prior experience, and just so happened that several years ago I used to participate in the Pan American Bank Scholarship Foundation and as a member, and would select kids to receive scholarships through the foundation.
Wow, so that's a pretty hefty challenge, right? And so you saw probably a lot of different essays on all different subjects, and you had a certain criteria, right?
Yes, I, actually during those days we didn't have as many, but I saw several, and so I had some experience with familiarizing myself with the format and what types of things to look for as far as, the questions, were they being asked fully, were they really giving from the heart, really telling their story, things of that nature.
Okay, now these are all recorded, but we could tell what he's going to look for. There was a hint right there, looking from the heart. Okay, and with us, we also have Sonia Rodriguez. Sonia, welcome to the show. Sonia, you actually are not, you don't just deal with kids, you're a life coach, right?
I work as a life coach oftentimes, yes.
Now, what's one of the things that people have to, do as a life coach? Do you have to transform lives, or you just one step at a time?
Actually, it's really easy. It's helping people overcome their fear. So it's getting them from point A to point B, whatever that is, at whatever level that is. It could be a high school student, it could be a CEO of a major corporation. Okay. They still have to get from point A to point B, and a life coach helps them find the easiest way to do that. And
you're also the senior administrator at USC, right? Correct. Wow, 20 years of experience helping students. So what are you going to look for?
I'm looking for something that touches, moves, and inspires me.
2 feelers. Okay, let's see our third, Dr. Philip Nolasco. Tell me, you're a teacher too, right?
Correct. I teach at Montebello High School.
And not just any subject, you have one of the hardest subjects that I had in school, which is?
Biology.
Okay. Yeah. Now, and what experience have you had in looking at essays?
Well, through my doctoral studies, I had to go ahead and write a dissertation, so I had to go through the process of editing my book several times. Mm-hmm. So going through that process and having somebody continue to critique me has helped me with writing and actually editing other people's submissions or essays.
Wow. Okay, so we have a talented judge panel, and in fact you have on your wristband, what is that?
Live Strong.
Okay, so that's exactly what we hope this message is. And now let's go to the individuals that we have here. Oh, technical issues we just had. Again, it's live, so we're not cutting any of this. But let's go to our first challenger here. And we have coming all the way from Yuma, Arizona, Mr. Frank Andre Amarias. Let's hear what he has to say.
Hello, my name is Frank Amarias, and I am a senior classman at Cibola High School in Yuma, Arizona. The following is my response to the question regarding my short-term and long-term personal and career goals upon graduating from college. I chose my destiny at a very young age, with my ultimate goal to successfully become a medical doctor. During the course of my elementary school years, I became obsessed with the idea of practicing medicine. This obsession was fueled by the fact that my closest neighbor was a family physician. It was during my 4th grade year that I was called upon to write an essay on a specific career choice. I chose to write about a career as a medical doctor, so I asked my neighbor, the family physician, for an interview surrounding her profession. I was so impressed with what I had learned about medicine and the ability to help others that my priority was to complete my studies in order to achieve my long-term goal of becoming an obstetrician gynecologist. My short-term goal, as I have come to realize, is that of securing enough financial assistance to both begin and complete the long road of studies which I face. As always, I have learned that it is very difficult to accomplish one without the other. I have always remained focused in attaining that which I seek, and I have structured my entire life around becoming a renowned specialist in my field. The thought of saving a life has always interested me, but to bring life into the world intrigues me even more. With each and every step that I take, I remind myself that nothing in life is free, and that hard work and dedication is key to success. I take a personal interest and pride in becoming a mentor to my siblings and making my parents proud of my continuous accomplishments. Longevity-wise, I seek to perform for not only myself and family, but for the good of the community which I serve. I wish to thank all the judges for granting me the opportunity to participate in this competition, which will serve as a mechanism in honing my writing skills at an even higher level. I look forward to receiving any and all comments and critiques pertaining to my essay for future use, and I greatly appreciate your time and assistance. Thank you.
Okay, so he thanked you. Now, for those of you just watching and tuning in, Frank actually answered a question for us. Tell us about your short-term and long-term personal and career goals upon graduating from college. So this is the question that each one of them are answering. So let's ask, first of all, Carlos, what do you think?
I made a couple notes. I like the fact that he used, life experiences, the fact that he referred to a neighbor doctor of his, and the fact that he did some interviewing with doctors. So he took an interest in the profession that he, wants to pursue, talk to the folks that that are in that profession, which is very important to do. Right. I got the feeling that he has community mindset, which is also very important. I feel that he did answer the question. Obviously, we'll probably need a little bit more in-depth, a little bit more as far as, maybe listing out some of the types, how he plans on achieving these goals.
You wanted more of a direction on that. Okay. Sonia?
Frank, you are awesome. I'm speaking directly to you and everyone else that's listening. I am so proud of you that you want to be a doctor. So to help you achieve that goal, here's some suggestions, okay? You did a great job. I would start with the story about the 4th grade. That really grabbed me, and I was interested in hearing more. So I would start with that, and then follow up with, I want to be a doctor, right? Okay. To grab the audience that's listening. The second part, your short-term goals, you mentioned financial aid. Financial aid's a given. So I wouldn't waste that valuable space saying you need financial aid. That's kind of understood. I would include more academic short-term goals, how you want to maybe spend the summer in pursuit of something that will help you become a doctor. Examples of how you want to serve your community. You mentioned your ultimate goal is serving the community. Awesome. How do you want to do that? Do you want to do low-cost medical, affordable medical care, or volunteering, or some sort of example? Sell it. This is your chance to sell yourself to whoever's reading and take maximum advantage to do that.
I think that's going to be a key point. People sell it. Okay, Dr. Nolasco?
I agree with Sonia. I believe that you need a hook. The 4th grade story is what captures the reader. And I know that it's uploaded into YouTube, but when you submit a scholarship, it's black and white and it's paper. So the way that your intonation and the way that you could go ahead and, I guess, kind of manipulate the story, it's a lot easier when you're on camera and you're speaking. Yeah. But when it's black and white, you need to capture that reader. Okay. The first couple of paragraphs, you need to make sure that you get them involved into your story.
Scoring as captured.
Right. Okay. So also the other thing I also agree with is you need to be more detailed. The short-term goal, yes, financial aid, again, as was stated before, is a given. But what are you doing to go ahead and advance yourself in the medical field? Are you volunteering? Are you interning? What's happening now? Okay. And how are you going to get from that short-term goal to your long-term goal?
Okay, so now we have it. What are the number? We'll start real quick. We need a drum roll. Okay, First number, Mr. Do you have it ready? Do you have it? Right? Okay. And for this is again for our first Frank. What do you give him?
6.
6. Okay. Sonia?
6.
Oh, almost the same. Do we have a tiebreaker?
No way.
Oh, 6. 3 6s. Okay, all right. Well, Frank, obviously you're in the running. So let's go to our next student, Isaac Eric Gonzalez from El Paso, Texas. Let's see what he has to say.
Hello, my name is Isaac Gonzalez. I currently attend Mission Early College High School in El Paso, Texas. My response to the question about my short-term and long-term personal and career goals upon graduating from college is as follows. Because of the unique school that I attend, I have already graduated from college with my associate's degree. As a result of this unique situation, I currently attend high school while also attending the University of Texas at El Paso. I first attended El Paso Community College, but I graduated last year with my associate's degree. I am now studying at the university for my bachelor's degree in general business. My short-term personal goal is to manage my time more wisely because I always seem to wait till the last minute to do stuff. I get it done, but I am always waiting till every last minute to do it. I always get things done because I am a responsible person. I tend to wait till the last minute to do these things, but I always make sure my work is good. My long-term personal goal is to improve my skills in being able to disc jockey on a professional level. I love music, and it's a way for me to relax and forget about my worries for a minute. I do own a small DJ system which I use to DJ with at events. I plan to do this while I attend the university as more of a part-time job, but I hope to get better because I am not perfect and still have some practice to do. Once I graduate from college with my bachelor's degree, my short-term goal is to open and operate a small business, just something that I can start off with and make some money off of. I do not intend to do anything big, just something to get me started and expose me to the business world. My intentions are not to make high profits, but to provide a unique business in the El Paso community. My long-term goal is to own some sort of entertainment venue in El Paso to keep people in the city, since many say it's a boring place to live. Well, I want people to stop saying that and say that you can find some fun stuff to do here, such as a water park or an amusement park. It is my dream and long-term goal to own an amusement park, and I think as a business person, one will soon be needed in the El Paso community, because from the looks of it, El Paso is just growing rapidly, and we do have one of the biggest military bases in the United States. We need to take advantage of El Paso's beautiful weather and great people and really put El Paso on the map when it comes to entertainment. This is the end to my essay, and I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it, and I welcome any comments to improve on this essay. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that last part doesn't count because that was his personal message, but pretty honest on a lot of fronts. What does that good or bad?
Well, I think it kind of works both ways. I think, I definitely can relate to procrastination, although I would definitely not go too much into detail as far as that's concerned, and maybe highlight more of the things that I'm more capable of doing, and then maybe talk more about how he'll overcome his procrastination, but not go into too much detail about that. And then as far as the overall wording, grammar, that probably could be improved upon. That was a big something I really noticed. Was
it impressive that he's been in college now, or?
That definitely, he's way ahead of the curve. I give him a lot of credit for that. Doing the two at the same time. So okay. Yeah, fantastic.
Okay. And what do you think?
Isaac, I think your accelerated academic program is wonderful. That really sets you apart from a lot of your peers. And good job on your introduction. I really enjoyed hearing that. I'd have to agree with Carlos that the procrastination, I would really think through that choice as the example you want to give in your essay. You would want to choose something positive that highlights your attributes, we are trying to choose from among many applicants, and are we going to choose a procrastinator who gets it done in the end, or are we going to choose someone that appears to have their act together? And of course, we're only looking at paper, and so we're trusting what you're saying, right? And while your honesty and sincerity really come through in your essay, those are valuable attributes, I think there's something positive in there that you might have that you can share with the committee that would do more justice to your application. You don't need to repeat short-term over and over, short-term goals. Just say what you're going to do, more like a conversation. And your essay seemed to ramble a bit, and it didn't all tie together until the very last sentence. So make it really easy for the judges. Kind of spell it out in the beginning what you plan to do, lay your arguments out, and then wrap it all up nice and easy with a bow so whoever's reading it can really understand what you're trying to say.
Okay, all right. Dr. Nolasco, anything?
Yes. The part where he has his AA and he's going to school, I think he should run with that. And talk a little bit about the struggles that he has and how he overcame those struggles, so that it shows that, you know what, I could overcome obstacles. I'm able to do and multitask and do several different things, and I think that would highlight him a little bit more than saying I'm a procrastinator. Because if you're able to go ahead and go to school and get an AA and a high school diploma and go to University of El Paso, Texas, all while you're a senior, I mean, that's pretty impressive. But you need to highlight that and run with that. And then as far as your short-term goals, I got kind of lost in it until the end, and I heard short-term goal, but I was kind of lost. Like, do you want to be a disc jockey? Do you want to own a entertainment venue? Or and I just think it needs to be a little bit more clear-cut, and he just needs to sell himself and say, look, these are my positive attributes. This is what I want to do. Boom, boom, boom. Nice, crisp and clear.
Now, he also, something I just picked up really quick, was it okay that he mentioned that, you know, he wasn't going to make a lot, that he just wanted to get by? Was that all right to mention or talk about? Anybody?
I like his definition of making it big was impact, not money. Okay. It wasn't financial. I think that's something positive to highlight in there a little more clearly. Okay,
all right. So now it comes down to the numbers. By the way, you will have a chance to vote. We'll give you the information on each of these individuals, because we're going to have the judges vote on theirs, and then you're going to have a chance to help maybe make up that vote, because we're going to choose the top three. So, okay, first, Carlos.
5.
Okay. Sonia?
Seeds of greatness.
Okay. Seeds of greatness, 5. Okay. Okay, 5. Wait, I think you guys are just, okay, you have to choose what the next person chooses, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. You have the same ideas. Okay, all right. So you can see there's pretty consistent here. Okay, let's go to our next one from, well, let him say exactly what city she's from. And this is Alma Leda Hernandez. Oh, we skipped. Okay, we skipped. Brenda Garcia from Norte Vista High School.
I attend Norte Vista High School in Riverside, California. Our response to the question about my short-term and long-term personal and career goals upon graduating from college is, as a high school student, my priorities and goals lie in graduating from secondary school and going to college. However, my goals do not stop there. After college, I plan to continue my education by going to medical school to later become a medical immunologist. Not only do I have career goals, I also plan to become a philanthropist by volunteering in cancer organizations and secure myself financially. After graduating from college, I plan to attend medical school in order to receive a medical degree in immunology. The process of applying to medical school will start in college. I have to expand my collegiate resume. I research my school choices, apply to different schools, and take the medical college admissions test in order to reach my goal. Once in medical school, I'll be able to learn about the body's functions as well as its chemistry, the immune system, through lectures and experimentation. In addition, I'll be able to conduct research under the guidance of my professors to develop technical skills and gain experience. Furthermore, internship in immunology as well as specific courses in medicine will give me the opportunity to expand my knowledge of this field. My goal of going to medical school will provide the necessary foundation for my career. My career goal of becoming a medical immunologist will take significantly longer to achieve. Using the beginning of college as a starting point, it will take me approximately 13 years to complete. After getting my bachelor's degree in chemistry, it is necessary for me to attend medical school to ensure that I receive my medical degree in immunology. With my hard-earned medical degree, I'll be able to apply to a three-year residency program that focuses on internal medicine. The experience I gain in the program will prepare me for my medical license examination as well as expose me to the responsibilities of a medical professional. Once licensed, I'll be able to participate in a 2-year allergy and immunology fellowship program to gain the official status of a medical immunologist. The path to my career is long and stressful, but I plan to reach it. As an immunologist, I'll conduct experiments that will return useful data regarding the immune system functions and structure. By knowing such information, I can find possible clues that will bring me closer to cures or therapies needed to delay the progress of immune system malfunctions. Through my research, I will be able to help patients subdue the symptoms of diseases such as leukemia and make their illnesses as manageable as possible. I plan to achieve my goal of becoming a medical immunologist to contribute to society by taking the necessary plan to reach it. Also, plan to get involved in cancer organizations such as the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society in order to raise awareness about blood cancer. My involvement within the organization will mostly be in the form of volunteering. I will attend fundraisers to raise money for research and for the purpose of facilitating a patient's life. I will also participate in events such as organizations Lights at Night Walk to earn money and raise awareness of blood cancers. By helping to educate the public, I will be able to inform communities of the prevention of diagnosis of leukemia and diagnosis of leukemia as well as lymphoma. Not only will I partake in volunteerism, but I will also make donations, especially as I progress as an immunologist. By volunteering in activities within the organization, I'll be able to accomplish my goal of informing the public about different types of cancer. Becoming financially stable is a goal I plan to reach in order to maintain myself. Even if I do become an immunologist with a high income, I will face financial needs. By becoming a doctor, I also face a future in debt. My medical education will cost money that I will need to pay using loans and other financial aid. This leaves me with debt that I will need to pay off later. Along with possible debt, I also have necessities to pay by certain deadlines, such as monthly bills. In order to gain financial stability, I will need to be able to save and manage my money supply. But opening up saving accounts at a bank will allow me to save up money for future use, while opening up checking account will be used for my payment necessities. Furthermore, I have to be responsible with all my spending, and not planning to completely dedicate myself to saving money. Instead, I plan to save enough money from my income to keep it for retirement emergencies. Becoming financially secure will allow me to manage my needs without the constant panic of bankruptcy. By learning to manage my finances and spending, I will become a productive and responsible individual. My goals, whether career-based or personal, will be my focus after college. I will gain the necessary education in order to become an immunologist, as well as become involved in organizations and become financially secure. By achieving each of my goals, I will grow as an individual and a professional. Thank you, and I will welcome all your comments on how I can improve my essay.
Okay, wow. Well, Brenda sped through that. So now, remember, they're not being judged on how they're speaking right now. That's another show, but it is on the content. So we'll start. Any suggestions? Did you like any?
I like that she talked about volunteering as one of her long-term goals. I think you kind of want to stay away from the financial aspect about how much things cost and checking accounts and savings accounts, and you really want to just focus on what you plan on doing, maybe with your degree as a long-term goal. That's fine. Your short-term goal, how do you plan to get there? And to me, I think it's a lot to tell your story and sell yourself. I think it's said before, sell yourself. The easiest thing to talk about is you. And I think
that's the hardest thing to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, it's who knows you the best. Okay. You do, and that's what I'm trying to say. Is that's the easiest thing to say. Is I'm going to sell myself, because when it's all said and done, it's one paper versus another paper, and who's able to articulate and say they're the best candidate for the scholarship. So I think you just need to stay away from finances and banking and bankruptcy and things of that nature, and stick with the content and say, hey, these are my short-term goals, these are my long-term goals.
But the content was pretty powerful, huh? Sure. Sonia?
Brenda, I am floored. I am touched, moved, and inspired. Thank you. I think your goal of being an immunologist is amazingly wonderful. It's very clear to me that you researched the path that's required to pull that off, and I was very impressed with that. The internship was a wonderful idea for a short-term goal to get there. You laid out your plans so clearly. I could envision myself moving through them. Again, the debt discussion, limit it to 1 to 2 sentences at the most. And a suggestion would be to partner with Padres Contra el Cáncer. It's a 501c3 that's local to the LA area, but they are expanding their scope nationwide, and they could be a source of volunteering, recommendations, or resources for you.
Okay. All right, and Carlos, 20 seconds.
20 seconds. Well, I agree with everyone else here. I kind of have the same notes. Don't want to go too much into talking about debt and finance and stuff like that. Keep that to a minimum. I did hit. She hit a lot of good points. I may feel that don't get too technical. Your reader may not know or understand what it is you're talking about. You don't want to lose them, and I think that's one place where you really could lose them easily is where you start getting too technical. So. Sell your story.
Okay, so notice story. Okay, so now the numbers come out. Let's bring them out. 6. Okay. And Sonia? 8. Wow. Okay, we have a difference of here. And
7.
7. Okay, so we have a 6, 7, and 8. We're going to tabulate those, and let's go on to our next student. And by the way, we did mention Alma earlier, but Alma's actual video was a little difficult to understand or hear. There we are. And so we're going to do that at a different time. But now we have Nelsie Hoyos Rosas from Chelsea, Massachusetts. Let's see what Nelsie has to say.
Hi, my name is Nelsie Hoyos Rosas. I attend Chelsea High School in the city of Chelsea, state of Massachusetts, and this is my response to the question of my short-term and long-term personal and career goals upon graduating from college. Many of us students have goals to reach by the end of our college career. My short-term personal goal is to become more organized. The long-term goal is to be more involved in my community. Career-wise, my long-term goal after college will be starting a nonprofit organization for students that are in middle and high school level to develop leadership skills. Once I had finished my college career, my short-term goal is to find a job in the business field. I chose this goal because they all relate to my plan in having a successful life. This goal not only help me, but it will also help others along the way. Being organized has always been a problem for me. It has made me lose doctor appointments. I have lost important data and missed meetings. It all starts with being prepared, because it will help to get the work done. A business cannot run successfully if they are not well organized. For example, a restaurant must have a schedule for the employees to work, or otherwise the place won't have management. In college, I will put to practice my organization skills, making it easier to reach my short-term personal goal. I have been involved in my community since January 2011. I have been introduced to people that have been helpful. I haven't yet had the opportunity to actually work with my community, although I am a member of a movement that is helping me develop skills through events, presentations, and study sessions. During college, I will learn new skills that will be helpful to work in the community. Since I was 16 years old, I started working to support myself. I didn't have the support from my parents because they are living in Mexico. Ever since, friends and family know me as a hard-working person. My parents also own a restaurant and have to step into the family business, which is the reason why I want to be an accountant. Though after college, I will need a job that is going to give me the experience so I'll be better prepared for the family business. While working, I will be in the process of starting a nonprofit organization to prepare students to become leaders. Leadership is needed more throughout the years go by. In my opinion, the youth generations are the ones that control the future of society. I have taken upon myself to start these goals before my college career. It is important to me to spend time wisely. I myself am at the point of becoming founder and president of a group in high school to help students be prepared for college. It is also a foundation for undocumented students to know their rights to go to college. I am also taking a class of entrepreneurship. It is helping me learn more about businesses. I have also purchased items to help me maintain organized. During the process of applying to colleges, it is important to keep track of the paperwork to have a plan to follow. In the movement that I am a member of, I co-lead a study session where I teach other members. This is helping me develop presentation and communication skills. I also organize campaigns and fundraisers, and I work part-time. It's hard to balance work and school, but it's a process that an individual must go through to gain experience and be prepared for harder work. The first step into reaching my goals is to have a plan. A plan consists of being well organized to know the steps that have to be taken to reach the goals. There also has to be desire, will, interest, and most importantly, perseverance to go through the process. My motivation to do this goes to help humble families have a better future. Teaching the knowledge that I gained from college to teenagers is a responsibility as an adult. Building experience in jobs is a good way to train for better jobs. Being involved in my community will help me find the resources that I need to help others. I am a bold and ambitious person. These goals will become a reality, and once the goals have been accomplished, I will have a successful life. Thank you, and I welcome any comments from the judges. Bye.
Okay, well, we heard it directly from Nelsie, so what do you think?
Very impressive. I actually did like some of the things that she mentioned. I'd like to hear a little bit more on short-term goals. Skip probably highlighting too much of the lack of organizational skills. Let's hear more attributes. Why does she feel she's cut out to do the things that she wants to do? Maybe expand a little bit more on some life experiences. She seems to get involved in quite a bit of things. Let's hear a story on maybe some experience that she had while she was involved in one of these things, and how she approached a problem, overcame it, and made it hear what the outcome was.
Now, Carlos, what did you really like? You said you liked some of the things she said. What was like one of them?
Just her participation with the organizations and within her school. I think that's fantastic. I can't push enough to let young people know, get involved with your school. Okay. Get involved, find out what's going on, participate, keep your ear to the ground, find out what's going on. If you can volunteer, do it.
Good. Okay, Sonia.
Nelsie, there is some gold in your essay. What stood out for me was all the things you have on your plate. I was very present to that, and how you balance everything out. Your family, your work, your schoolwork, your volunteer activities, your leadership. I think focusing on that in your essay would do you justice more so than your organization skills, that sort of thing. The leadership, excellent. I would use examples from your personal life rather than describing the process of goal setting and that sort of thing. A personal story would go a lot further than that, and just keep up the great work.
Okay, good. And do you agree, concur?
Yeah, I think she should highlight a lot of her positive attributes. Stay away from the negative stuff. I think from the all the essays that we've listened to, I think they should be a little bit more specific and have more details, and that goes for every single one of them, especially if you're trying to go to college, what college do you want to go to, and what degree do you want to study, what field. I think if she does that, and I know she said she wanted to go into business, but what school and why that school, and use the work that she was talking about, like her family owned a restaurant, use that to show the leadership skills that she wants to better herself. And I think it'd be all right. And again, have a story and have a hook.
Okay, good. Well, okay, so some very positive things. Let's see if it reflects in the numbers. Now, the first number?
7.
7, okay.
7.
Uh-oh, 3 times in a row. Oh.
I like 6.
Okay, it takes a little bit to get him away from 6, but he did do a 5 there, so 5s and 6s. Okay, so we're tabulating those up. Let's go now. We're actually just going to jump real quick to Anna Brenda Lopez. We do have one of our last students. They will be live with us. Technical problems aside, hopefully we'll have everything good there. So Anna Brenda Lopez from Yuma, Arizona. Let's see what she has to say.
I'm Brenda Lopez, and I attend Zavala High School in Yuma, Arizona. As I enter a new era in my life, I must set goals that will keep me focused personally, educationally, and help me give back to my community. Upon graduating from high school, I hope to attend Arizona State University. My education goal is to apply to the College of Nursing and hope to be accepted in the fall of 2012. I would also like to major in Spanish to improve on my Spanish pronunciation and writing skills. My personal goal would be to continue my involvement with Relay for Life, a non-profit organization that raises money for cancer research, and eventually become the event chair. In 5 years, I hope to have the opportunity to bring my ideas on the plate and continue fighting until we find a cure. My long-term goal after graduating from college would be to pursue a nursing career at a local Phoenix hospital and attend medical school. It has always been a passion to help others, especially cancer patients. I'm still unsure what medicine I want to specialize in, but I do know that it will be helping with cancer patients. I I appreciate your time and look forward to your feedback on how I can improve my essay. Thanks again for this opportunity.
We even got some mood music on that one. Okay. Now, for those that don't know, we were told that actually they did this in a school, and the school has a TV facility there, so they were able to do that. That's probably not her actual background in her house. But, okay, so Carlos, what do you think?
Well, too short, first of all. I'd like to know why taking Spanish. Is she going to apply that to something? And then, yeah, we need to hear more short term. There's not enough content, really, to give a real full, intelligent.
Little brief.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after we've seen the other ones. And again, they didn't know what each other one's going to look like, but that's true. Okay, Sonia?
Anna, polished perfection in how you laid out your path. I could see exactly step by step how you were going about your short-term and long-term goals. Love it. Keep it. Perfect. What I'd like is a little more context. What's your story? So that we can provide the context for those goals, so that we can put the two together and get a better idea of who you are.
Okay, all right. And what do you think?
I think she has a good base. I think she has a lot to work with. I agree with the other judges. The content was a little, you could have beefed it up a little bit more and explained, why nursing is so important to you. Oncology, why you want to go into oncology. I just think that it's a great base, a little bit short. Again, you need to have a hook. You need to get me. You need to capture me, because if you just kind of just say, okay, this is what I want to do, X, Y, and Z, I'm going to sit there and put this paper to the side and say, okay, that's it. Okay. So I still have to go with the hook, the stories, and tell me, what your struggle is, and why should I give you this scholarship,
How much longer do you think it should have been? Anybody? Carlos?
Well, I don't know that, that there's a certain criteria, but I think as long as you convey the story, why you should be chosen, what stands out, why I'm going to remember you in the morning, why am I not going to just shove your paper off to the side, that's what's really important.
Oh, make it last. Make the impression last. Okay, numbers now. And for those of you that want to judge on this, you'll be able to do so on Facebook.com. And let's go ahead and what's the tabulation here?
You know what I like?
Yes.
6.
Yes, okay. So staying very safe with the 6 zone. Okay, Sonia?
7.
Okay.
5.
Okay, so we're tabulating that. And on to our next student, we have Zeltsin Galindo from Southern High School of Durham, North Carolina. Let's see what Zeltsin has to say.
Hello, my name is Zeltsin Galindo, and I'm 19 years old. I'm from Acapulco, Mexico. I've immigrated to the United States 16 years ago. I'm presently attending Southern High School in Durham, North Carolina. My response to a question about my short-term and long-term career goals upon graduation from college is the next. Finding a profession that I can practice my passion, which is in aeronautical science, and making a difference in human society. Ever since I saw Apollo 11 reaching the moon on July 20th, 1969, my inspiration in aeronautical science was awakened. This amazing accomplishment proved that when something is wanted, there are no barriers that can stop your dreams. I would love to become an international cargo pilot with the purpose of bringing food and necessary supply for a foreign country in need. Ever since the Hudson Miracle landing, my desire for flying became even stronger. Seeing a pilot accomplishing such a difficult landing in the river and saving hundreds of lives brought me great inspiration and extraordinary motivation to make a difference as well. For my long-term goals, I want to become a captain pilot and work for Southwest, Delta, American Airlines, FedEx, or UPS. I want to contribute to the world and my community by becoming a role model for Hispanics, females, and other minorities in order to motivate them to explore the aeronautical field. I also want to become a trilingual aviation instructor to teach people of different ethnicities and background and give them an opportunity to be successful in the aeronautical science field. I want to thank the judges very much for taking time and effort to rate my essay. I welcome any comments to improve my essay. I want to thank everyone that made my participation in this competition possible.
Okay, so Zeldson, evidently not from North Carolina. So, what do you think? Any notes?
Yeah, I thought that was great. I mean, she used a lot of reference to why she's interested in the career path that she's chosen. I would like to hear a little bit more with how she plans on becoming a role model. It's really easy to say I want to be a role model, but maybe lay out some ideas on how you may go about doing that. You know, participation in nonprofit organizations, or you know, giving of your time, going to school, you know, things of that nature. But otherwise, I thought it was actually very nice.
Oh, that was okay. That was pretty good. I feel a higher number coming there. But let's see, Sonia, what are your thoughts?
Well, here's where the female perspective really comes into play, because as a woman, I see you excelling and setting your sights on aeronautical science, number one, to be wonderfully amazing. There's not enough women, let alone Latinas, pursuing that field. And I heard your interest in being an instructor, a trilingual instructor. So you want to instruct people in 3 different languages on how to be just like you. I think that's fabulous. So I see role model flashing like this, role model, role model. I think it's the perfect balance of story and goals. It's a... you know, maybe a couple sentences a little short. I think there was room if you wanted to add something else in there. It certainly didn't feel like it was missing anything to me, and I just applaud your efforts. Good job.
All right, wow. So far it's 2 good ones. Let's see the sixer. What do you think?
For me, I thought you should probably look at your immigration to this country and use that for your advantage, and how the struggle has been, and how you've overcome certain things, and how you've been successful in this country. I think that would help. Also, I like the Apollo story, and I think if you put that at the start of your essay, when you talked about the Apollo landing and how that inspired you, I think that will capture me and say, okay, this is the reason why she's going into this field. I thought that would, if you just kind of move that around and tweak that, I think that would be very helpful. The thing about the long-term goals, I think, was very important with the trilingual instructor. I mean, if you hit on that and continue to go with that and run with that, I think that's going to benefit you. And just laying everything out, I thought it was decent. I think that she could go ahead and speak a little bit more, maybe just on her struggles and how she overcome them.
She shot for the moon and almost reached it, right? Sounds like it.
Got close.
Got close, all right. So now it comes down to the numbers, of course. That's the final determination. And again, for all of the students that have participated, we want to make sure that you understand this is to better you. So that's exactly why all of the advice has been given. But let's see what the first number is from Carlos.
7.
7. Okay, and we have, now we only, in order to do, but let's see what we have. Sonia?
8.5.
We didn't have that little 0.5, so she wrote it in. Okay, 8.5. All right.
I moved. I got a 7.
It takes a lot to move him, so that's 7. Yep. Wow. Okay. Well, I think that's the highest numbers that we have thus far. We definitely have a leader in the ranks, and now we're going to go to. We have another guest, but let's go to our other one, which is, and now this one is a little hard to hear. It's not really, I mean, it was probably the mic. It wasn't the best mic. Logitech, go get a Logitech webcam. But we're going to bring back Alma. I think it was Alma that we left out earlier. Alma? Okay, so we're going to try to, we have to all be very, very quiet so that we can hear Alma, and hopefully you'll be able to hear what she has to say. And Alma Leda Hernandez from, this is the hard one, we'll let her say it. Oh, you knew exactly where. Yeah, Nacogdoches, Texas.
Hello, my name is Amaleda Hernandez. I attend Nacogdoches High School in Nacogdoches, Texas. My response to the question about my short-term and long-term personal and career goals upon graduating from college is, to say I have my future all turned out is an understatement. For a while, my only plan for after high school was to go with the flow, to take it easy and just take what comes my way. But then a friend of mine opened my eyes. What's going to happen when you're going with the flow led you at McDonald's working double shifts? I had never thought about it, but he had a point. What if the only opportunities that crossed my path were job openings at fast food restaurants working at minimum wage. I never had plans for my future, only dreams, but knowing that I could end up working at McDonald's for the rest of my life hit me hard. That eye-opener was all I needed to get started on my plans for after high school and also after college, to set goals and to devise a way to make my dreams come true. After high school, I plan to continue my studies and work my way to becoming a certified public accountant. Following my college graduation, one of my short-term goals would be to find a job where I can exercise my skills gained throughout my college years, and also to stabilize myself before moving on with my life. Once stabilized, another goal I would like to accomplish is to pay off my debts caused by all those years of trying to expand my knowledge. While paying off my student loans and other debts, I would also be working on my long-term of gradually moving up positions in my job. Personally, I would not only like to obtain one of the highest positions in the company that I would work at, but I would like to possess and manage my own business. Another long-term goal would be to acquire a second career, something that would take about the same amount of time or less than it did to obtain my CPA. Something that would maintain me occupied, but would also give me time for my personal life and allow me to supervise my own business. Learning to manage my time and make more of it is one of my short-term goals, since I happen to be the kind of person who never has any idea of what time it is and apparently never has time to do everything she needs to do. Administrating the little money I have or will have is also a short-term goal of mine, a very important one. How else would I survive my first week out of college if I had no money? Few people would not consider being a procrastinator a bad thing. Leaving things to the last minute actually helps them perform and do better on their tasks. But imagine procrastinating for the rest of your life, always being stressed, always in a hurry. Leaving behind bad habits, it's definitely a big major goal, both short-term and long-term, I have set for myself. Going with the flow wasn't a bad idea, but once you thought about it carefully, you could see clearly that it would take you nowhere unless you had something to guide you. Starting a plan and setting goals for myself helped me grasp the idea about a future after school. Thank you. I welcome the comments from the judges on how to improve my essay.
Okay, so that was, again, all the way from Nacogdoches High School, Alma, Leda Hernandez. Alma, I have one little note. Change your battery in your smoke detector. That comes from me because I used to be doing security systems and fire alerts. So okay, so we're going to have with us now, I'm sorry, I got a note and you guys are confusing me. Okay, so Carlos, what did you think?
Well, I have to apologize. I didn't hear most of it. My hearing is not so well. I'm a little under the weather. Although I did hear.
Wait, you're under the weather and you're here?
Yeah, hey,
okay,
I'm dedicated.
Hold on. There we go. Okay,
I'll come back. I like the opener. I thought that was a great grabber. You know, the whole go with the flow and how she woke up and realized that's not the way to do it. I didn't hear as much short-term goals as much as I probably would have liked to. It was more long-term goals. So that's about as much as I think I can intelligently comment on right now. Just let's hear a little bit more up front on what you plan on doing now, the types of things that you want to do in school, how you're going to participate, the types of activities you plan on doing in order to achieve that long-term goal.
Okay, all right. So, Sonia, what do you think?
Alma, I see your path. I see how you really turned it around and how you are on the path now to achieving your dreams and your goals. In your essay, it almost seemed like your audience was your fellow high school students, and you were selling them on going to college. I was ready to sign up. If I was a scholarship reader, that would be a different message, I think, for me. So I would be less abstract, a little more concrete about where you see yourself, and help me visualize where you want to go. And just a little hint: a short-term goal would be within a year or two, and a long-term goal would be, say, 5 years out or 10 years out. So you were talking about short-term goals several years out, when I want to know what you're going to be doing in the summer to further your academic goals.
Okay, and Doctor, what do you think?
I thought the story about McDonald's and kind of waking up was a good hook, but from there I kind of, I don't know if I couldn't hear it or I just kind of got lost and in what you're trying to say as far as short-term goals. I think you went from short-term goal back to a long-term goal. So just maybe just the way that you present it and the way it's set up. I know that you want to be a CPA, and then I also heard that you want to go into a different career, but I didn't know what that other career would be. Right. And again, stay away from the discussion of debt and being a procrastinator. I mean, it's unfortunate that school comes with a price, right. and many people have student loans, and you're going to submit this essay so that you won't have that burden. And they want to see what type of person you are, not how you're going to pay back a loan.
Okay. So in other words, I mean, you're applying for the scholarship. You're already getting, so they know that you need the money. Right. There's no need to elaborate on that. Okay. All right. Well, you've heard it so far. We have some of the judges' information on that, and so let's go ahead and see the numbers on that. Number
6.
6. Okay, we're back to the 6s. Okay, Sonia?
5.
5. Okay, and
my favorite.
Well, it wasn't 5. So, okay, so we have 6, 5, and 6. And for those that aren't or are calculating already, that's a total of 17. That's right. We have our scorekeeper behind the end. So just to kind of keep up the tabulation of what we have right now, we have Frank Amarias with the score of 18, Isaac Gonzalez with the score of 15, Brenda, you got a score of 21, Nelsie Rosas, a score of 20, Anna Lopez, a score of 18, and Zelstin Galindo with a 22 point. Of course, you had to have the 5. So we have the 22.5 there. So as we could tell so far, our top leaders are Zelstin, Nelsie, and Brenda Garcia. Let's see if somebody can actually kick them out of the loop. We're going to take a quick break, and here's a word from our sponsors right here. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We're going to be back with one more.